the power within you. So many people have talked before me about the power that you have within yourself and how that power transforms your life. Can you go to the first slide? So the biggest influence on human behavior is the story that we tell ourselves in our head. Changing your story, you can change your world. So we're talking about narratives, we're talking about history. We've seen people come and go, we've learned from it. The Quran talks about it, and it gives us good ideas. So what is it talking about? It's talking about how to tap the power that you have within yourself and bring that out in the open. Because you are the most beautiful person in the world. We never ever realize that. And we've always looked at others for their narratives and found out from our uncles, from the history books, from everywhere that, how do we spend our lives? What do we do in our lives? What is it that gives us success? How will we be viewed by the other people? All the time we are enthralled by their thoughts. Marks achhe aane chahiye, we should do well, we should be up there, people should recognize us. And my life has been totally different from that. And I've seen people feel so broadened, not humbled when they have power. What does power do to you? It should expand your heart, not your words, not your body, not your possessions. So the power within you is the biggest, I think, I would call it something out of the universe coming into your heart. And since we're all connected to the universe, so can you go to the other story? So the next story that we have is my own story. I was born 60 years back, and I was just an ordinary girl. I wasn't good at my studies. I was just looking at nature. I was talking to the trees. I didn't want to learn what the teachers were telling me, and people said, "Oh, she's really, the other children are doing so well. We are 5 brothers and sisters." And my father was in the government. He was Secretary Industries. And we had a good life. My mother was very caring. Life was good. But I wasn't good at my studies, and people made fun of me. But I really didn't care. I went through. But I had a teacher. I was in the convent, and the teacher was someone who just sat with me and talked to me, and she would listen to me, and I loved her. And during the breaks, I would, follow her. And I was like, what is this about this woman that makes me study? I want to do well for her, to make her happy. And what was it? It was her love and understanding for me, the respect that she gave me. She thought I was worth talking to. She thought I didn't have any self-worth at that time. And the idea that I'm giving you is that, then we went to London. There was racial discrimination, and they were saying, Pakis go home. This is like 1974. And, it shattered me. And I would just sit alone in the middle of the night and talk to God and say, why is this world like this? Why does everybody hate us? Why is this happening to us? And the thing is that I would talk to God most of the time. And I thought, even I wouldn't put my foot on an ant which is walking by so that it doesn't get hurt. I was so much into humanity, into poetry, into literature, because my father was like that. And I thought the world was absolutely something that unfathomable, so beautiful. But then, when I came back from London, got married, and then started my life. And it was good for some time to say that, I learned through the hard way. And that's what my husband used to say, you learned the hard way. And he was quite abusive. I had children, he took them away, I'd go back. And the process would start. Everyone who came to meet me, all I was doing was blaming. I was the victim. I was crying. I was saying, "Uff, dekho, meri zindagi ke saath kya hua hai? This is, look what's happening." I told my parents, but they said, "Ab shaadi ho gaya, no need to cry about it. In our family, divorces are not acceptable. You just have to put up. You've got your kids. You have to be nice, and you have to just put up with him." And for so many years, I did. But I did my FA, and I was 19 when I got married. But then I studied, and he didn't like me to study. I used to be hiding and studying. I did my bachelor's, and I worked for Beacon House as a teacher. The children loved me. It was very surprising. Now my students are lawyers and oncologists and doctors. And I'm like, oh my God. And why did they love me? I was a class 3 teacher. It was because I gave them time. I gave them respect. I gave them love. I used to listen to them. I used to play with them. I used to give them things out of the book. I didn't want them to feel that, something was, have to be done. Why didn't you do it? No reprimanding, just talking to them like friends. And they excelled, these children. I wasn't a good teacher. I don't think I was, because I never went to teaching school. I was just a normal graduate who knew a little bit of English. And that's what I was just thinking about it, what happened. And then life it had so many problems. So I was working and I went for a divorce. He took away my kids. I had to go to the court of law to fight for it. And the only thing that comes to us is, oh, she wasn't faithful. She was like this, she was like that. The blame thing again coming to us. And going to kitty parties, the aunties are like, oh, iski divorce kar rahi hai, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai. So it was really a shame to be around. I could feel so little. And when I started working for UNHCR, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, I started as a counselor. People loved me because I talked to them, I listened to them. These were caseload of Mujahideen-e-Khalq and different Bosnian refugees, beautiful girls who've been raped, men who have been gone through torture. It was a horrible, horrible thing. I'd never seen something like this in my life. The whole night I couldn't sleep. For the next 1 year, I worked as a counselor. Then I worked so hard and I gave such good reports that, and the refugees, they themselves changed their thinking. They became calmer, they were better, and everyone was, guessing what was it? It was the way I talked to them with respect, giving them that assurity, a high self-esteem, a little bit of confidence, saying everything will be okay, just don't worry. Someone who listens. Why do we go to the psychologist? Every time something happens, we say, oh, let's go to the psychologist and see, what's going on. And all we do is sit on that chair and he listens to us. And we feel, bahut acha, bahut acha. So, but then this is the same thing. The power of communication, the power of talking, the power of listening is the key to self-development. You have to listen to people. You can't be one and all. We have such big egos. And I sat there and I'm like, oh my God, I've been crying all my life. And there are these refugees who have nothing, who came from big places, from Iran, from Bosnia, from Somalia, and they have nothing, and they're living in Pakistan without any status. What kind of a life do they have? That is when I realized what is human predicament, what is human suffering. I forgot about myself, and that gave me the power to be what I am right now, is to help others to try and understand what is the basis of our lives. What are we here for? Why has God, me, an ordinary person, put me in such a strange, there is a reason for everything, in a strange situation where I could never even think about it. And then what happened was that I went to America, I did my degree in education, I did Montessori from London, and through Montessori, I read so much about the cosmos, about nature, about everything. It all came together, like when I was a child. And the model of Montessori was just tremendous because I learned, and when you are learning, when you're studying, it's another ball game. It's not, I wasn't a good teacher, I would say, but now I was, after the degree, after learning, after working in America for 4 or 5 years. I took my kids to America and I put them there because in the court of law, when they come back, there'd be litigation and all that. So one part was done. I came back because my father died. He was a very good man, very loving. I'll never forget him. He was a great inspiration, and he still is. So his share was, "Aadmi खाक से है, खाक में मिल जाता है, जिंदगी खाक बसर हो, ये ज़रूरी तो नहीं." So he came up with this thing of he was a socialist at heart and very strong about human predicament, about literature, about art. And then I did my master's when I came back to Pakistan, worked for USAID, and then I had a brain tumor. And I'm like, Ya Allah, I fought with Allah. I'm like, Ya Allah, ye kya hai? Why are you doing this to me? What have I done to deserve all this? And then everything changed for me. I opened this school with one child, and that tumor was actually the axis of my life. It changed me. It gave me the reason to be there. And I knew that all this experience was leading towards this part of my life. 15 years back, in 2008, I opened a school with one child. He was an Afghani child. And these children were in Bari Imam. Nobody trusted them. Nobody wanted them. Everybody used them for sexual purposes. They used to cut them open, take their kidneys out, sell them. Aunties would open schools for some children, but let them work. There was no education, nothing. And I said, that's it. I want to open a school for these children because my education is such that I can talk to them. I don't feel that thing, oh, what will people say? I was working for this. Those things don't matter. It is your heart that would take you forward. And then I opened this school, Mushal. Mushal is the light. And the light within you was the light within my children. Can you change the style, please? So what we did was, I started the school from 3+ to metric children. Now these children are those children who pick up garbage, wash cars in the streets. They go through all kind of atrocities. Their parents were like, no, madam, ye gaadi dhoega. He's going to wash the car. He's going to clean the thing. He will scavenge. But he's not going to do a study because there's nothing in studies. You don't get a job. And we need to run our lives. And the father is doing drugs and he's unwell and all that. All kinds of things. But the kids, the motivation was from within. We used to play cricket. We used to do art. I used to take them to field visits. I used to sit with them and talk about pictures and life, and the lessons were done in dramatic play. And we had the teachers who were from the same community. And in this picture, you can see that during COVID, we had these taps for the children because there was no sanitizing. We used to go to their houses to teach them. Tablets and this internet never worked because these kids need one-on-one attention. We believe in individualization. We believe that every child is unique, but at the same time, they need to be talked to be listened to. We have sessions with the parents, sitting with them, telling them, don't beat them up, listen to them, try and understand them. The mothers felt empowered because the children were going to school, and she said, one day, he's going to be something in life, and he's going to take me away from this hell. And that's their dream, the mother's dream. And the dream of the girls is to get educated, to be something in life, to stand up for themselves. It's a co-education system for a reason, because we want the girls and boys to be together, to understand that, nobody's an alien to each other, talk to each other, converse with each other. I also believe, my dears, that, like education itself is a discipline in which we learn to live a life which is practical, which is something that will make things easier for you. It should be used. Algebra, geometry, this. Actually, it doesn't really make sense to me. I'm sorry you guys are for the engineering school and everything, and you'd say, what is she talking about? I mean, for academically, yes, but in life, it is the attitudes that you have. It's the humbleness that you show. It is the looking in your heart and finding your peace. Sit with yourself, meditate. The power of prayer is huge. The prayer itself will be heard if it is from the heart. Anything that you want is possible. Different things. Don't pursue the same professions as your parents have or something. Go for something very different. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This is not an examination room. It's a life. Be happy, be joyful, be grateful. Every morning when I used to get up, I'd say, oh God, I'm alive again, when I was miserable. Now I get up and say, Alhamdulillah, this gratitude, because I can feel the power of the people that I work with and the power within me that would be, spreading around. The more you give, the more the 100-folds you get. And people used to say, how are you running this? And I'm like, I made a pact with Allah. You get the money, I'll do the work till my last breath. So these are the things. And this boy, Jazeb, that you see in the middle it's a little success story. He came in kindergarten. He's got 6 brothers and sisters. They used to sleep in one room, and the father was a drug addict. And at the same time, when these children were, I showed him how to paint, and he loved the paintbrush. He'd never touched it before. So he said, ma'am, what would it take for you to give me these paintbrushes and the paint? I said, come first. And he came first. And then I gave him this little cupboard in which he had these paints. And now he's our art teacher in our school. We have 45... Badlenge, beta. Can you change the thing? We have 45... There was something else. Yes. We have 300 children who've been to every year they get enrolled in the government school. We work with out-of-school children. We bring them in. It's a holistic approach. We give them medical we get medical camps, we do dental camps, we do from different organizations. It's the art of getting connected. Nowadays, connectivity isn't difficult. We're not really very modern like you guys, but NUST University came as a community services in our school, different Sabbath, FAST, different universities come in. And the beauty is that we want you guys to come in and teach our children, because what they see is their dream, they'll come true, because you guys are the inspiration of Pakistan now. So 45 teachers from the same community, I trained them. These are these girls who were sitting at home, they'd done their bachelor's, and they didn't have a job. Now they're teachers, and they have this habit of, hitting. They used to say, "Ma'am, hitting ke bagair kaam nahi chalega." And I was like, no, we're not going to hit. We're going to make them sit. If they don't want to work, that's fine. Maybe one day. And we have, if you come to our school, you'd be amazed. Whosoever comes, everyone is stunned at the confidence level and the self-esteem of our children. And the thing here is, the only thing is, what was it that made them so strong and so resilient? It was the trust and the love that we gave them. And that is all you need. You need to have people around you who love you, who trust you. And if they're not there, you are the only one who matters. So you look from within. Can you change, beta? So the pursuit of happiness is looking in yourself and finding your happiness. The people that you connect with, the people that you'll be with will be giving you influences, and they have their vibrations. But you need to not take all advices, but use your mind, use your brain. Your mind and your body will be dead one day. It's your soul that will live forever. So connect with your soul, and within that soul, you will find God. You will find yourself, and you will be the light, the Mushal. Thank you very much.